Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I about titled today's video, we are doing Rate My Build. So what this is going to be is anybody that has put any response to this tweet down below, that we're going to be looking at them live react. So this is going to be something that I haven't typically done. Normally what I want to do with these is kind of predetermine which of the comments is something that was worth like deciding to put in the video. But check this out. This was insane. So we had 240 something people respond to this in less than a day, for that matter. As you can see, I put this out at 4:03. It is 2:40 a.m. as I'm recording this right now. So in less than 24 hours, we had 240 people respond to this. So what I want to do is be fair and just whatever the Twitter algorithm decides to put at the top, we're going to go ahead and look over, and I'll probably go over like 15 to 20 different builds. I know that's not fair to the other 220 something people that aren't going to get reacted to here, but I do appreciate the love so much. It's actually so fire that many people were down to engage with this and obviously interact with this tweet, and all for me just posting some simple screenshot of my own build and asking if they want any pieces of advice or just to flex whatever great build they have that they've made in 2K24. So we're going to get straight into that in today's video. I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to one to 2,000 likes. So let's go through and start reviewing everything. Now what we're going to maybe do with this as well is give everything a 1 out of 10 rating for after we're done reviewing it. So I'm going to try and make these a little bit quick because obviously the video is going to be extremely long if I don't. So let's get straight into this. We got my boy Waff right here. He has been on all types of different crazy builds. I've seen it. He's one of my more loyal viewers as well, and he makes all types of crazy stuff. He had like the first 99 3 build I saw in this year's game, and as you can see, this one is a pure offensive 610 right here. So we have 92 standing dunk with an 89 driving. I did ask for them to be good quality screenshots as well, so we'll skip over anybody that's like really tough to see, obviously for the sake of the content. But anyway, so as we've already mentioned, extreme offense. We got the 92 post control for the gold unpluckable and all the post badges that come along with it. 92 standing dunk for the gold fast twitch, and obviously, you know, elite standing contact dunks as well. Pro contacts off 1 and off 2 with the 89 driving dunk, and then we got ridiculously high driving lay as well. I believe, I'm not even really sure what 91 driving lay comes with, but either way, I mean, it's still got high strength too, so it's going to get the fearless, it's going to get all those post-related badges. It literally just doesn't have defense. Now, how do I feel about that? I'm not sure. I'm not going to lie. This is actually a more solid build than I would originally think when I'm looking at something like this. I will say, obviously, you can get away with playing corner defense on something like this if you're, you know, able to be acceptingly the worst defender on the court. So I think this is more for people that have squads to run with. If you are playing with randoms, though, I will not lie to you guys. I've seen the power of just a tall build, period, in 2K24. If you have speed, if you got strength, if you have height, and obviously not a crazy wingspan because it's still minimum at 6'10", but all these things combined, I don't think you're going to play as bad of defense as you actually anticipate that you will. I know the rebounding, you know, rebounding is just completely forgettable. Obviously, you're not going to get many boards with, you know, that low of a rating. But you can play solid perimeter defense and interior defense with this. Do I think it's competitive? No, not really. But to be fair, I could definitely see some decent players come out here with something like this. And if they surround it with good defenders on the court, it's possible. I would have wished to get that 89 pass accuracy for the Halliburton pass style. With all the things that you could have dropped something off on, I would have preferred to do that personally. But anyway, overall, it's a height that doesn't get anything restricted like Space Creator, and obviously, you know, if you went 7 foot, you can't do that. If you went like any taller, you maybe will struggle to get driving contact dunks. If you went any shorter, you can't get the standing contact dunks, and 6'10s are the demigod build in this year's game, if you ask me. It definitely is capable of doing some powerful things that no other build can, including also getting like physical handles, you know, blow by, and just a trifecta of 3 different like playmaking badges that you can't attain on any other height. So to speed things up, I'm gonna give this build an actual 7.5 out of 10 in my opinion. I don't think it's as bad as some people would anticipate. I would rate it because I actually do think with all that offense on the court, if you surround it with good defenders, it actually can be an extremely overpowered build with the post control mid-range, the driving, finishing, just ability of it, just in general, from the dunking to the layups to the mid-range to the dribbling to the passing and the post control. I think it actually is pretty slept on. Next up, we got the boy Chicken Wink right here. So this is going to be a low driving dunk build. I'm obviously, like I said, we're going to live react to most of this. So I'm just seeing a lot of thresholds that will be hit. It's a 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan. Not much ball handled and only enough speed with ball for the pro dribble, or the normal dribble style, I should say. We have the 94 prim for the Hoff Challenger and gold clamps at 93, the 91 steel for all the steel badges. It has enough for silver chase down and bronze anchor, so obviously that's something I've been advocating for quite a bit here. Same with the silver rebound chaser on the 83D board. The vert, not very high, but obviously it's not a high finishing build, so it kind of just is what it is with that. To kind of speed things up with this one, because I don't find it to be something that's game breaking or glitchy or something I haven't seen before, I would say I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. I don't think it really stands out too crazy. I think the pass accuracy is good and all for the Hoff Dimer, and then obviously everything that comes with it. No post control to take advantage of like the mid-range being super high, but honestly, in general, it can be a pretty tough build to guard with the fact that you can still do those crazy behind the backs, the normal dribble style to kind of just tween, back and forth, you know, simple as that. And obviously it meets a lot of thresholds as far as defensive stuff goes too. Decent strength, decent acceleration. It's going to give you fast feet on silver, you know, immovable enforcer on silver too. It's an okay build in my opinion. Nothing super crazy. And obviously, you know, 2K Labs is cool with me doing stuff like this. They're not the only person to ever post a video like this, and we've been, you know, actually inspired by probably Pacers Gaming for that matter. Like I remember they started that in 2K20. They were probably the first people to get to this. So we got my boy Dubs right here. We got a 6'7" PG. Likely an ISO build. As you can see, the pass act quite low. Obviously, with that said though, high three-pointer, high mid-range, no post control on this again with a low finishing just in general. So just kind of looking at these three categories right here, you're gonna have to see the defense kind of carry a little bit more on every other front. So I know I did put my strength to relatively the exact same thing on my new 6'8" build that I created as like a shooting 5-out build, so to say. I think I gave it 74 for specifically bulldozer on bronze. It may have been 73 though. I don't remember exactly. Either way, once again, we got a low vertical build with just enough driving dunk to get a couple packages with that CJ McCollum, and then as you can see, 40 standing dunk to get just the standing dunk package as well. I think this is like no disrespect to my boy Dubs. I love his stuff. I really think he's like a really good YouTuber and he's like upcoming for sure. I don't think it's a super crazy build though. It's pretty well rounded decently. I mean, 60 O board will give you bronze rebound chaser as well, but overall I'm gonna have to give this one like a 4.5 out of 10 if we're being completely honest. I'm not a huge fan of the build personally. I know it's gonna hurt that I said that to him, but I don't think I'm really vouching for the build way too hard. Next up, we got Gibson, and again, shout out to Dubs. If you guys want to go check him out, he's a really good YouTuber, good energy. I've been wanting to play with him for a lot of time this year in 2K, but he's on PlayStation. It's just kind of hard to get on the comms, like, you know, to get on Discord and stuff. I know that's petty for me to say, but I do absolutely love his content, and if you guys want to check him out, feel free to, for sure. Anyway, next up we got Gibson. So we got a 6'8" power forward build, can switch to guard the 5 when needed, mainly playing rec, but also made to run the big in 3v3 Pro-Am. Okay, so we got to look at the rebounding first, obviously, with those things in mind. 93 D board, and the strength to match for that Hoff box out beast, and obviously the gold rebound chaser, Hoff box out beast we already said as well. Good offensive rebound, can still play the big, as he mentioned. I don't think people should sleep on the whole 6'8" playing a big in 3v3, and then obviously for the sake of like 5s, you want to play more back end, and really could even still be in the corner ready to rotate. 89 still gets to that gold interceptor, but does not get the on-ball steal ability badges per se. Like those are both still sitting at silver between glove and right stick ripper, but I think that's okay. I haven't seen too many people do that though. 88 Prim D specifically, or 89, I don't know what that specifically gets. Typically I'm trying to target that 87 for the gold challenger, and it comes with obviously like clamps, etc, etc. So I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head what comes with that. Not to mention I would have liked to get it 40 speed with ball as well. I don't know if that's being petty. The mid-range is not extremely high, so we're already dealing with like low jump shot requirement type jumpers per se. Like obviously, you know, to max out your midi to the highest level and get to like 86 typically, if you even wanted to take the wingspan down sometimes, is pretty nice with all the things that it'll give you between some of the best bases in the game. Shout out to 2K Labs for that. I'm probably plug it right here. Also, if you guys didn't know, I'm pairing up with the NBA 2K Lab this year, so you can use code LAKER for 20% off at checkout at their website. That's NBA2KLab.com. On this website is all types of really good statistical jump shot information. You can also test the jumpers on their website too. Plug the controller straight into your phone or to your PC. You can get early, green, late. It'll tell you where you need to adjust on that jump shot, or if you don't know what jumper you want to run, you just go to their jump shot recommender. You punch in your height, the jump shot rating that you're working with, and then based on the milliseconds of timing that you get, it'll recommend you a jump shot. So again, if you want to use code LAKER for 20% off at checkout, that's NBA2KLab.com. Appreciate you guys, and we'll get back to the video. Anyway, as I just mentioned, the 3-point shooting badges are not going to be super great at 78, but it is going to be a hittable rate to be able to just put on. down. Not to mention, I don't like the standing dunk being 83. I think like you can perform standing dunks plenty fine. You're not gonna be able to like standing dunk meter people, or standing contact dunk, I should say, with a 6'8". So I'm already kind of not a big fan on the whole finishing like capability that this has. 65 driving dunk is good though for the athletic hangs off. One, it's definitely a good like threshold to hit when it comes to being kind of this popper type pick and roll, pick and pop build, if you will. I think it's very good on defense, but it is kind of lacking on O. I think it's enough offense though to make work if your point guard is very good, but that's kind of the key. Not to mention you can't really throw breaks, so it is what it is. Like I said, on threes, that's probably not going to be super necessary, but for fives, even playing back end, it would be kind of nice to have the pass accuracy a little bit higher. And again, it doesn't really bring a lot to the table on offense. I'm going to have to give this build probably like 5 out of 10, 5.5. To be fair, it's good, like, you know, utility on defense for sure, and the switchability and versatility is really big. Obviously, you know, I would argue it can guard 1 through 5, definitely in this game, but offensively, I think it's just lacking quite a bit. And in this game, I do think you need to bring something to the table on O. With how hard it is to run point guard, it is kind of annoying if you don't have someone to bail you out your corners and whoever has the point guard on them, essentially. Where some PGs got really low defense, you want to be able to take advantage of that. Next up, we got Whelp, something a little different to have fun in park, and Pro-Am threes. Okay, so we're looking at mostly just, you know, not fives is what we're trying to get at here. So low Prim D, I'm already not a huge fan of that. I feel like Prim D is pretty cheap, and I think it's a very valuable attribute rating to be had in 2K24 where, you know, especially if you're talking threes, I mean, they're going to hunt like matchups, and generally some teams will either come out with a triple ISO or they'll come out with like a pick and pop or something to attack your lack of perimeter defense. Now, to be fair, you being 6'10", they might not know that you're lacking perimeter defense. Like, if they see a 7-2 out there on threes, they know it's barbecue chicken, it's time to cook up, because obviously your speed's going to be like 50-something with like, you know, your Prim D in the 50s as well, or 60s. But with that said, again, obviously, it still brings something to the table offensive rebounding wise with the Silver Chaser. It's got enough strength, obviously not 84 for the Bulldozer on Silver, but it does still get everything that you would ideally want between Brick Wall and Immovable Enforcer and stuff like that at 83. Vert, fine. I would prefer, personally, to end up at 94 driving dunk too. That's also kind of my little gist on it, where I like the Hoff slithery that it provides. I like the Elite Contacts off too. You could get your vert up to 82 along with that, and it would provide that. And then same with, I actually don't even vouch for the 92 standing dunk in the first place. I know the first build I kind of did, but obviously it's because we're investing like crazy in the dunking and shooting and playmaking and stuff like that. It was a crazy offensive build. But with this, I really want to just tell you guys, I don't value the gold fast twitch in the first place at all. I think that personally, when it comes to the standing dunk meters, if you're gonna do them, it doesn't matter how quickly they are. It's really more of a, you're putting someone in the animation thing already. It doesn't need to be quicker. And if anything, sometimes it being quicker makes it harder. It's going to make it harder to time the dunk, and it actually can be a problem if you have quick packages on as well. So I'm not sure, you know, I would have preferred to maybe move one more dunk up, take the dunk down, the standing dunk down too, and then take the vert up too as well. Overall, though, you know, speed, strength, rebounding, the block, it's all acceptable levels. I don't like the Prim D being so low, and the pass ac, oh man, I didn't even see that. That sticks out like a sore thumb, obviously, too. So that's going to be kind of tough. I've already, like, you know, tried playing with 50 pass ac without upgrading it. Like, I saved it for last to upgrade it. To be fair, it was on a point guard build, but I don't know. I don't like that quite very much on this build. And the three-pointer is not even, like, maxed either to its, like, capability. I know I'm sounding kind of harsh here. I'm going to have to give this, like, a 4 out of 10, though, if I'm being completely honest. I just think it misses a lot of thresholds. It misses a lot of obvious ratings to upgrade, and I don't know. I mean, it just seems kind of mid. I'll put it like that. Now, to be fair, it's a very good slasher build, but again, I would, you know, vouch maybe for taking the standing dunk down, driving dunk up, and then I kind of prefer the layup being higher too, if we're being completely honest. Like these 6'10s, you get that 78 layup between Jokic and Sabonis. They're both very good floater packages, and it definitely, well, to be fair, it is a popper though, so it's not going to be hard to like deal with paint sitters or anything like that. And to be fair, he's talking about to have fun. So at the end of the day, I think this build will achieve that goal. It's definitely gonna be a fun build to play with, between like midi fade, the driving dunks, the standing dunks, obviously the three-pointer ability that it has, and the lack of being a complete liability on defense. So I'm not here to hate on it entirely by any means. Anyway, next up we got Ashbridge. He's another YouTuber as well. If you guys want to check him out, shout out to him. Goated PG build for almost every mode. It can guard the top of a 3-2 zone or a 2-3 zone, and then great for ISO or screens and 2s, 3s. and 5s, I'm guessing you meant to say. I mainly built this because I don't have any locks to play with. Very OP build in my opinion. Okay, so when he says don't have any locks to play with, yep, okay, so he's got a very good speed with acceptable perimeter defense levels with like the bronze, you know, it's bronze everything. Bronze clamps, challenger, fast feet, pick dodger, all that stuff, with a 96 steal as well. So you can have the Hoff interceptor, Hoff right stick ripper, and the gold glove. Also high three-pointer, so he's got the 87 three-pointer. He is a guard, so he's gonna not maybe be able to get some of the guard jump shots he's looking for. I think being 6'5" with this would have been really elite, because then you're getting a lot of the type of jumpers that are already like the best, if you will, with that height for this three-pointer. But besides that, it will be kind of tough to create with, in my opinion. I mean, offensively, it is going to suck to not have any dunk at all and then still not have elite shooting. So, I mean, to be fair, layups are still pretty solid in this game, and I would actually say more than pretty solid, to be fair. But with 75, it might be kind of tough to find a package that you really like. Default swing, I guess, would be something that's decent to run here. He also misses out on the Halliburton pass style by a couple ratings. I'm guessing he was just going for like bronze bailout potentially. I do think that this is a little bit overkill on the ball handling and speed with ball, personally. Now, to be fair, the speed with ball at 90 does give the Kyrie Irving dribble style, so that's very big. It's actually a huge deal. I guess what I'm more so meaning to tell you guys is I think the ball handle for a two-way build like this might be, you know, like I said, a little bit overkill, to be fair. And it might be nicer to put it in other spots with the build. But I do understand his intention with the build is to, you know, be able to play two-way and be able to guard ball and run point guard. And I think this does a decent job at that. It is very steel-made, which obviously I'm not a huge fan of, but it also has decent block, decent interior D, so it can hold its own. As long as you're good on the sticks and you can hang with people on the perimeter, with this level of perimeter defense, I think that's fine. But again, me personally, I'd probably take the ball handle down for a little bit more prim and probably a little bit more three-pointer, if being completely honest. But anyway, for the build overall, I'll give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I'm hoping we can find some that are like elite. Let's go over this one quickly, because obviously it's not the type of screenshot we're looking for entirely, but it's not terrible. I guess we'll just keep on this screen. So we got Trevin right here, my 7-1 Wemby type build. If I could do it over, I'd probably change a couple things, but overall still my favorite build I made. So we have a 77 close shot, 80 driving dunk, 75 standing dunk. It's obviously going to miss out on, you know, quite a bit of things that are useful here. Like, once again, if he could have got up to the 80 standing dunk, at least he could have got the standing big man contact dunks. He got a lot of vert. It's got very good mid-range, obviously the post control to go with it, and obviously that gives you the Hoff post fade phenom and all the badges that come with that. Silver unpluckable as well. Decent pass act, decent ball handle, decent speed with ball, decent pretty much everywhere, if being completely honest. I mean, it's nothing to like blow you away, but it's a solid build overall. 7'1", good height too, for being honest. I mean, like 7'1" to 7 foot can definitely be good. To get this level of speed and strength together is definitely a good threshold to hit too. In my opinion, he gets the silver brick wall and all that stuff that comes with it. He didn't go for the Hoff box out beast, which is okay. I think that's fine. He gets the gold box out beast, and that's all you're going to get with this level of strength anyway. I'm going to give the build like a 6 out of 10 again. I think it's okay. I hope that we can find something different here throughout this video. But like I said, I'm just being fair to the algorithm of just like, I want to give everybody a fair chance at being involved in this video. So I think we just keep going with it, and I won't skip over anything, to be honest with you guys. So this one right here, I actually think I saw, yeah. So I like this tweet because I thought this would be a good one to like go over. He said, I went 0 for 5 on my build so far, thinking this is the one. Let me know if y'all think changes should be made. So he's already saying to us that he has completely blanked on the builds. And that's why I wanted to talk about this one. That's why I like dropped a like on it, because I did see this. Just to be clear though, I did not see majority, if not all others that were under this tweet. But this is one I actually took a little bit of a look into. So I am not a fan of the whole low three-pointer, high mid-range, but to be fair, if some people play that way, this can be a tough build to guard between the driving lay and the mid-range type, you know, creation, if you will. 83 ball handle gives the Jamal Murray behind the back, which is going to be very big for creating in the half court, and you get the John Wall step back too, so you'll be all good with the ball handling, if you ask me. Same with, like, you know, Magic dribble style or pro, whatever he wants to go for with that. He's got 85 prim D. With the fact that he has the strength so high, I would have preferred maybe to just sacrifice that a little bit and go up to 87 on the prim for the gold challenger. And I think just in general, the strength is a little bit overkill. I think 90 is a good threshold to go for. I think you could get back a little bit more, maybe speed acceleration. You probably don't need more speed, if being completely honest. Enough for the silver speed booster is probably good enough. I guess like overall, I don't know where else you would put stuff on the build if you were to take the strength off, because you're not really lacking a whole lot. I guess the easy answer is drop the strength up to 3-pointer, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, I think this is a pretty low 3 to be running, but to be fair, you also get badges really high off that 93 mid and the jump shots as well. So if people are comfortable shooting with this low of a 3-pointer, that's fine. I'm not here to hate on it by any means. I definitely would say, though, if you drop the strength down to like 90, up the prim D to 87, and then, in my opinion, up on the 3-pointer a little bit, maybe even give yourself some standing dunk too, potentially, if it's not too expensive, because it can be very cheap. I just don't know with this type of investment into the finishing if it will be or not. But that's my advice, to be honest with you guys. And I think we'll hold off on giving it a rating too definitively, because obviously it sounds like he's like, you know, trying to maybe move the build around a little bit. So we'll give it a 5 out of 10 for now. Again, it's nothing crazy, but it's definitely something that could be good if it has a little bit of work on it. And I think with that is, again, just take down the strength just a tad bit down to that 90. Next up, we got Chet build, and we beat a top team with me on PNR with my lock. So I'm guessing what he means by this is that he was playing backend, like on the pick and roll D. So let's go ahead and give it a look. So 65 driving with a 90 standing. That is the thing that is frustrating to deal with in this game. I haven't really experienced it firsthand, but I can assume that it's very tough to deal with, because when it comes to the standing dunk meters, you really want to be able to utilize it in the like moving into the standing dunk a little bit more than you would think. Obviously, it can be kind of frustrating if you have to be directly below the basket every time you go for a standing dunk. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but to be fair, he knows his style better than me, probably. I'm just here to give that advice. 86 mid-range with a 79 3-pointer. It's going to be good enough, obviously, with the big jumpers as well. Once again, pretty low pass hack, if I'm being completely honest, especially for the fact that, I mean, you're playing a little bit of a back end, per se, or like a rebounder. It is what it is, though. If people don't throw outlets, I guess it's not a big deal. But it can be frustrating to not be able to throw that, if we're being completely honest. Not to mention, in my opinion, I don't really value the silver anchor that much anymore. I mean, I am playing on a build with bronze anchor, you know, in like 78 block and 61 interior D these days, and it's one of the best investments I ever did to put it that low, because then I got a whole bunch else on the build. And I'm not here to judge people who don't have that, because obviously, you know, it's something I came around to pretty recently as well. But besides that, good strength. You know, we're kind of, you know, going over a lot of things we've already recapped here, so we're going to accelerate through this. I'm going to give it, once again, probably another 5 out of 10, if we're being completely honest. And here we go. Here's some good meme stuff. The little bit of this and a little bit of that build. So we have the 75 everything build. So what do I give this? What do I give this? I have to take a moment to actually think, like, how does this like actually set up? Because I don't want to just, you know, say it just because it's like troll. I'm just gonna skip over it. The prim D will give you something decent paired with the strength. You're gonna get, you know, clamps, challenger, all that. The interior D is gonna be good enough too. I think you miss out on anchor, and I also don't know what height it is either. So obviously we have that to deal with. And this is the most scuffed picture to possibly deal with DJ Khaled covering like half the stuff and not showing what the height is. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I think this build is garbage. It's really gonna be more of like a 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. I don't think it's gonna be good enough at anything to actually be good in the game, period. It's actually one of the worst builds I've seen so far. And to be fair, I understand it's more of a meme build, but like in previous games, the 80 everything builds were like good, you know. In this, it's gonna just miss out on way too many thresholds. So next up, we got Slackify. My PG build, he's been a menace. All right, so let's peep this. This is gonna be, okay, it's technically like bigger to look at this screen, so we'll give it a look. Once again, guys, if you could, you know, not snap the like screenshot from your phone on the TV, that'd be great. But I understand not everybody has the access to you know, the high quality screenshots, so it is what it is. Anyway, 80 driving lay with the 6'6", so you get Jimmy Butler package. I like that. 82 would have been nice, but to be fair, I guess you don't have any dunks, so James Harden's not something you're going to value too high. I think actually, for that matter, never mind. 80 is going to be a really good spot to hit with this build. I do see he's not going to have enough strength for Fearless Finisher. As you can see, even in this part right here, he's missing out on it. So that is a tough thing to miss out on with that. It is what it is, though. I'm sure, you know, he probably doesn't care about it too much. Good ball handle, good speed with ball. It's going to get the Devin Booker dribble style eventually whenever that comes out. And for now, he probably just runs like Magic or Pro, something like that. Obviously, 85 prim, 91 steal. Once again, I would have preferred to maybe go 87 prim. I guess everybody just doesn't really care for Challenger. And then 86 speed, 83 excel. Low vert, but that's expected. Strength, once again, pretty low, but I'm guessing it's just enough for clamps, which it is. And yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, I think it's a pretty good build. I think with a couple minor tweaks, it'd be, like, really good. But overall, like Tyrese Halliburton pass style, good ball handle to reach, good like, you know, like speed booster thresholds. I believe this is only for gold, but I think that's fine. And it's done through, I believe, even speed. It's not done through acceleration, but it's definitely close. I know that for a fact. But anyway, again, Hallie pass style, you got the 92 three-pointer. I think it's looking pretty good. I'm going to give it like a 7 out of 10. I think it's one of the better builds we've seen so far in this video. This guy had me thinking it was tonic, low-key. We're going to skim through this one quickly because I think it's looking pretty freaking bad, if we're being completely honest. This is looking like a 3 out of 10 to me. I mean, it's low three-pointer on a 6'7" with, like, you know, pretty mediocre. I guess, like, 86 ball handle is a good threshold to hit, and it is 91 steal. I just think it's not the level of dunk I would like to go for, especially with that low of a three-pointer, and I don't know. Yeah, it's looking pretty rough, if I'm being honest. Definitely like a 3 out of 10. All right, next up, we have a 6'8" shooting guard right here. I'm not sure if he's intending to play shooting guard with this. It looks like it, if we're being honest. It could be more of a point forward, potentially, too, though. But 94 dunk, 85 three-pointer, 86 pass. Once again, it would be nice to go a little bit higher for like 89, but 85 ball handle. I personally thought like 83 and 81 were like decent thresholds to hit on a 6'8", but that's just my own personal preference. It's good prim D. It's got enough steal for bronze interceptor, good enough acceleration and speed. Obviously, the silver speed booster once again with good strength, a little bit more vert than necessary, if we're being honest too. I think you could have took that down to the 82 for the dunk requirements right there, because it doesn't give you the elite contacts off one. Good driving lay. It's going to be able to get pretty much every package in the game possible. So I'd actually say this is a pretty good build for that matter, honestly. I mean, it's missing a little bit of pass act for my comfort zone, and then obviously the mid-range is sitting at 70, which is a little bit rough in this game where mid-range can bail you out quite a bit. But also that 87 lay gives him that gold fearless finisher is what I also just peeped. So I think this is actually pretty good build. So we're going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. It's probably one of the best builds we've seen so far. Shout out to, I'm Dope J Will right here. I'm not really sure how to pronounce the first one, but not a very common build. This is my in-between build. Okay, so let's peep this. Also, little face cam here, shout out to him. But 86 driving dunk with a 80 driving lay. Obviously 80, I think 87 is one requirement you have to hit for the contacts, so that's a little bit rough to miss out on. Not to mention he already has the vert for it too, so that is pretty tough. The strength 74 is definitely a good threshold to hit. I think like some of the speed and excel might be a little bit excess, like you could have gone a little bit lower just to get that one more dunk. We got 85-3, once again, maybe 86 could be nice for that Agent 3 instead of just hitting bronze Limitless. Ball handle, speed with ball, I'm okay with. I think speed with ball could just drop down to 75 if you would like as well. And for the most part, this type of a build makes me maybe ask, like, why not just a little bit taller, if we're being completely honest. Like, I don't think you're utilizing a lot of what you can get out of a 6'6" for this build. Nothing in specific reaches like a lot of thresholds that you would have needed to hit. His wingspan's a little bit lower, and then obviously like the three-pointer sitting at 85 still. You could definitely do that on a taller build. And the prim D steal, ball handle, speed with ball, like all this stuff. The only thing that you have like maxed out on this build is speed and excel. I think you could just go taller on it personally, and then it'd probably be looking decent. We're not going to spend too much time on that, but shout out to Toonie right here. For now, we're going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I think this could use some work, obviously, with the height and a couple like thresholds to hit, but it's not terrible overall. So we're going to do like 3 more, and then we'll call it good in the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff. And like always, try to 2,000 likes. Feel free to put Laker in the comments, search sports you made it to this point in the video. But anyway, next up, we got Thread. Insane all-around guard build. Hits multiple attribute / animation requirements and doesn't have many weaknesses. So let's peep this one. 87 driving lay once again, and if he has the strength to match, I believe that's gold fearless finisher. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that's hitting the gold fearless. It's got really good pass act with 95, 85 ball handle. Once again, another 6'8" that's maxing out on the 81 speed for the silver speed booster. High perimeter defense for this build too. Once again, max for a 6'8". So I love that. I think the 94 prim, 91 steal on a 6'8" that still has acceptable shooting ratings with that 90 mid-range too, and has post control. I mean, this is the thing, fellas, in this game, is that when you make a build that doesn't have any dunk, it really can just become such a demigod in every other aspect of the game. Like, the good ball handle, good speed with ball to reach, pass act ridiculously high, good shooting, post control, layup, all that, perimeter defense, demon. You got the strength to go with it too, and it's also the fact that you don't have to upgrade vert that high. So if you're making it to be a prim lock, it's like such a good combo with all that, because then at that point you don't care about vert that much if you're not playing for crazy blocks or rebounds or the dunks in general or anything like that. And I would actually say this is the best build we've seen. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10, actually a 9 out of 10. I think this is an elite build. I think this is really good, and I know some people are gonna call it troll because it doesn't have dunk, but I think, like, for the specialty that it has, and because layups are also very good in this game, and with the 87, you don't have to worry as much on that fallback option of the fact that you are gonna go with the lays. I think this is actually very good. All right, next up we have one where he's making it for Comp Pro-Am when his other center is not on. Should I change anything? So I've already, like, I just took a look at it for like 2 seconds. I already saw, once again, it's kind of like a low driving dunk, high standing dunk with the 81. And then obviously it's meant to be a popper. It's an outside big. I'm not sure whether they're playing 5 out or if it's pick and pop. So obviously that's something to kind of mention. It can do both though, with the fact that it has really high O-board and also high strength. So I'm assuming it is a popper for that matter. And I would argue that the finishing might be a little bit tough to deal with if you're going to be intending to run a little bit more pick and roll, pick and pop with it, but it should probably be fine. I would maybe say that the post control probably won't be utilized quite as much as you would hope for it to be though, if you're just by default going to resort to something where you're probably being more of a screen setter. But overall, I think this is pretty good. It hits a lot of thresholds like Hoff box out beast and the 90 strength, the golden movable, all that. Good vert, probably a little bit high for that matter if you're not really worried about the driving dunk stuff, but I do respect the high vert on even a popper build like this where you just want to be able to jump high for blocks and rebounds. I will say, if you want to make a build like this, I think you should absolutely be in play for like the 61 interior, 78 block. I'm gonna be real with you. I think Silver Anchor is the worst investment I've ever made in 2K, in this 2K24 right here. And if you were to drop that off, you instantly just gain all types of stuff that you could put back on the build, like maybe even higher driving dunk, even the 90 standing dunk if you wanted to go for something like that. Max out your prim. Obviously steel was fine at 60, and you really could just do a lot more with the build because of that, in my opinion. And if you wanted to maybe even reach like the Hoff break starter with the 92 pass ac, I think that's something else that could be accessed as well. So I would definitely suggest potentially to just drop that anchor level, but to be fair, some people aren't really quite as much for that. So anyway, this will be our last one right here. We got Daniel, wanted a build that was really well rounded, could guard up or down a position in park, and play the 3/4 in rec. Also wanted to be able to get J.R. Smith base. Okay, so we're talking a wing build, 6'9". It's got 90 prim D. I don't know what that's specifically for, to be real with you guys. Steel could also, like, yeah, I would definitely say, like, drop the perim to 87 and the steel up to 60. The block at 68 as well, kind of. And also, he wanted to play the 3/4. I guess, like, there's a lot of work to do on this build, if we're being honest. So, playing like lock and power forward in like rec slash, did he say he wanted to play? Okay, so he's not playing comp pro-am, so it's more of just a rec thing. So obviously that's where things are a little bit different, because if you're talking rec versus comp pro-am, obviously the 3s and 4s are more of like your on ball and your back end, whereas in rec it's still a lot of guarding arrows as well. So we got to think guarding small forward type builds rather than guarding, you know, point guards or back ends or anything like that. So let's give that a little mentality shift here. So prim D, decent. I think in rec it still would be nice to get that 60 steal though, and then I guess, like, again, it still would be nice to up that block to like 78 and the interior to 61 anyway. Just get the bronze anchor and the silver chase down. I don't see why not. 83 D board though, very good. I respect that rating threshold for sure. Same with the strength thresholds, I love that as well. Good speed, good excel. Actually, for that matter, though, I'm seeing that you potentially could have just got one more speed and got the silver speed booster, because you have the speed with ball to match as well, and I believe the ball handle too. So I definitely would advocate to try and get one more speed on this, because I'm pretty sure you can on a 6'9". I'm not positive though. I'm not exactly sure. So don't take that with a grain of salt a little bit. Once again, a little bit higher pass ac could be nice to that 89, but overall, I think it's like an okay build. It's going to be able to do enough in the dunk game and also be able to standing dunk. I guess, like, it's definitely more of a rec build for sure. And it also doesn't have the post control, but to be fair, you don't have much time like that in the rec to work with, so it's kind of tough to do. I'm going to overall just give this like a 4.5 out of 10 again. I'm not a big fan of the build, but it's playable, and if that's the way you want to roll, that's how a lot of this is going to go for a lot of people as well. So I know, kind of bummer one to end on right there. Actually, matter of fact, we'll do one more, because why not? This looks kind of interesting. So we got a lock build for all modes. This is going to be a 75 driving dunk with only a 30 standing. I would have preferred to get standing up to 40 personally, or 45 if you would have preferred that as well. With the three-pointer, it's at 80, so I think it's going to be able to get some decent bases, but it's not going to be perfect. it would have been very nice to get some higher three-pointer potentially, or maybe even also like get the mid higher. But to be fair, if people don't want to shoot middies, they just don't want to shoot middies. It's about as simple as that. And because you don't invest into the post control or mid-range game, or even for that matter, unfortunately, just a slightly too low speed with ball. But also he will get pro dribble style because he's a shooting guard, so I guess the speed with ball doesn't matter. But because of that lack of investment on the post control and mid-range game and like the ball handling, his defense is elite. It is lacking one block for like silver anchor if you were going to be going this high on interior in the first place anyway. So I would have preferred to probably get it there. I'm assuming he wanted to really desperately hit like 83 pointer though, and that's why the wingspan isn't maybe all the way max to 7'4", which would let you get that block to 87. Again, I think if you're going to go with this level, you may as well just commit to the bronze anchor life, if I'm being completely honest. He has enough rebound for 85 being that gold box out beast threshold, but I don't believe the strength is high enough. I think you need an 84 strength to be able to get the gold box out beast. So it's missing a couple key things, if we're being completely honest. And it's pretty elite on the speed. 85 speed on a 6'7" is very good. And obviously, that's going to be pretty good as a defender as well. And then 94 steal, I think that's fine. I think 95 is for the Hoff interceptor, though. And I don't know what 94 even gets you, if I'm being completely honest. Because I know for a fact that 91 will give you all of those key badges on gold. If I'm not mistaken, I believe right stick ripper on Hall of Fame is 95 and then Hoff interceptor is 96, but I could be wrong. I don't remember that exactly to a T. Just in general though, I think this is like an okay build. It's nothing super amazing. I'm gonna also give this a 6 out of 10. So I know a little bit disappointing with the video. Obviously we wanted to see a little bit more like special builds in a sense, but obviously some people aren't really just making meta builds, so to say. And also obviously some things just work for some people, some don't. And whether that's by my beliefs of thinking that, like for instance, the one that stuck out to me the most with this video is that people went with the 85 prim instead of 87 for the gold challenger, even though it's like definitely capable to be put on. And then same with like missing out on a couple rebounding thresholds, strength thresholds, obviously that one that missed out on the 1 speed for the silver speed booster. But overall I think it was a pretty good video, and I do appreciate everybody who obviously put in any input to this tweet. We went over a lot of them in the video, and as I said, shout out to everybody who responded to this. That's a lot of people commenting on that and liking it, and even the retweets and everything like that. So I do appreciate it. If you guys want to follow the Twitter, feel free to as well. Besides that though, I hope you all enjoyed. If you made it to the end of the video, put Laker again in the comments, or you could put build in the comments if you made it all the way to the end of this video. So appreciate you guys. Let's try and get 1 to 2,000 likes. And on that, take it easy, man. Peace.